Hello everyone, welcome to Chiruish Institute of Biology. In previous class we had discussed about the introduction part of the digestion and absorption chapter. In this video we are discussing about the details of the digestion and absorption chapter. Right? So we are starting with the first part of the alimentary canal, that is mouth. So mouth is the anterior opening of anterior opening of alimentary canal or gut. So this is the first part of the alimentary canal. We are also calling anterior opening of the alimentary canal, that is mouth. Mouth guarded by two lips. Two lips, upper lip and lower lip. So mouth guarded by two lips, upper lip and lower lip. Upper lip also called superior labial frenulum. Lower lip is also called inferior labial frenulum. So this is upper lip, this is lower lip. Okay, where also these are the folds, membrane foldings. So frenulum means folding, a membranous folding. Main function of this lip, they prevent falling of the food. Prevent falling of the food while masticating, or when we chewing the food is not falling from the oral cavity because of the lips, upper lip and lower lip. The main function of this mouth is helps in ingestion. The function of the mouth is ingestion. That means intake of the food material. Intake of food. Ingestion. So this is the function of the mouth. Now mouth open into buccal cavity or oral cavity. Okay, mouth opens into oral cavity or buccal cavity. This oral cavity, buccal cavity contains three parts: palate and teeth and tongue. So these are the three parts that present in oral cavity. Now we are discussing about the buccal cavity. Buccal cavity or oral cavity consisting three parts, or it contains three parts: palate, tongue, teeth. Palate separating, this is palate separating upper nasal chamber, lower oral cavity. So upper nasal chamber, lower oral cavity, both are separated by the palate. So because of the palate, at the same time, that means simultaneously we are eating and we are drinking at the same time. Because nasal chamber, oral cavity, both are well separated by the palate. So there is no chance of mixing of the air and food. Okay. So this palate divided into two parts: anterior palate or anterior part, posterior part. So anterior part, posterior part. So the anterior portion of the palate, you can see this much portion. So this much portion of the palate we are calling anterior portion. So the anterior portion of the palate is made up of with bone. So we are calling it hard palate. And posterior portion of the palate is made up of with cartilage. So we are calling soft palate. Anterior portion made by bone. Those bones are maxillae and palatine. So palatine bone. Next, posterior part. This posterior part is made up of with soft cartilage. So we are calling it is soft palate. Anterior portion made by bone, we are calling hard palate. Anterior part. Those bones are maxillae and palatal bone. Now, on the surface of the anterior portion, ridge-like structures are present. So, the ridge-like structure that present on anterior portion of the or on hard palate. Ridge-like structures are present. We are calling them rugae. The main function of the rugae, they provide grip. Mostly the rugae developed in carnivorous animal because of carnivorous animals are feeding on fleshy meat. So they provide grip while taking the meal from the herbivorous animal. Right? And soft palate, there are no palatal rugae. And so the last portion or the end portion, you can see this is the end portion of the soft palate and which is freely hanging. The freely hanging end portion of the soft palate we are calling uvula. The main function of this uvula, it moving backside or it is drawn backside along with the soft palate. So this is soft palate and this is uvula. Along with the soft palate, uvula moving backside and closing nasal chamber and preventing entry of the food and water into nasal chamber. So that is the main function of the uvula. So now we are taking next part of the alimentary canal, that is Parings. So oral cavity. This is oral cavity. Oral cavity open into Parings. This is Parings. So Parings divided into three parts. Nasopharynx, oropharynx, laryngopharynx. Three parts. So this is nasopharynx. Nasopharynx is the region where behind the soft palate, below the soft palate, the region of the pharynx we are calling nasopharynx. Into nasopharynx, Eustachian tube opens. Eustachian tube. Okay, so you know that middle ear is connected to nasopharynx. Middle ear connected to nasopharynx by a small duct we are calling Eustachian tube that open into nasopharynx. Now these are internal nostrils. Internal nostrils. So internal nostrils also opening into nasopharynx. So these are external nostrils. External nostrils. External nostril open into nasal chamber. Nasal chamber open into pharynx through the internal nostril. That internal nostrils open into nasopharynx. This oral cavity or buccal cavity open into oropharynx. Oropharynx. Now, lower part, the lower portion of the pharynx we are calling laryngopharynx. Laryngopharynx. So the main parts you can see, this is larynx. Okay, so larynx open into pharynx, that is lower part of the pharynx, through an opening. This opening we are calling glottis. So this opening protected by a cap-like structure we are calling epiglottis. So this epiglottis main function prevent the entry of the food and water while you are breathing. When you are eating, you can see the food enters and air enter through the common passage, that is pharynx. Pharynx is a common passage for air and food. So there is a chance of entry of the food while you are eating, while you are drinking water, the food may enter into larynx. So during that time when you are swallowing, when you are drinking water, this epiglottis closing the glottis and preventing entry of the food into trachea, larynx. Okay, next one. So esophagus also open into lower part of the pharynx, that is called laryngopharynx, through an opening. This opening we are calling gullet. So this is glottis and this is gullet. It is not covered by any cap-like structure. It is open. But you remember it is covered by here. At gullet, there is a sphincter present. That sphincter we are calling sphincter. This sphincter we are calling upper esophageal sphincter. Upper esophageal sphincter, and this is the first sphincter of the alimentary canal. Important, the location of the first sphincter in alimentary canal present at opening of the esophagus into pharynx, that is laryngopharynx, guarded by, protected by upper esophageal sphincter. Sphincter means round structure, valve means flap-like structure. So this is the difference between the sphincter and valve. Sphincter is a round structure that helps in closing and opening, and valve is a flap-like structure. Okay, so this is about the pharynx. So next, tonsil. Either side of the pharynx, tonsils are present. Or simple arrangement of the tonsil on either side of the pharynx. You can see this is the pharynx. Tonsils are arranged either side of the pharynx. So the arrangement of the tonsils on either side of the pharynx we are calling wall layers. Wall layers ring. Okay. So pharyngeal tonsils present above the pharynx. Lingual tonsil present base of the tongue. Palatal tonsil present either side of the oral cavity. Lingual tonsil present at the base of the tongue. And this is Eustachian tube. And above the Eustachian tube, tubal tonsils are present. These are paired palatal tonsils, tubal tonsils. Both are paired. But lingual tonsil, adenoid tonsils are unpaired. So palatal tonsils are often infected and causes sore throat or painful throat. Main function, tonsils contain lymphatic tissue and produce IgA antibody. IgA antibody. So these IgA antibodies are generally tonsils are the first defense mechanism of the body against ingested, inhaled, or the foreign particle along with the food, along with the inhaled air enter into the body. So they are forming first defense mechanism of the body. So first defense mechanism against inhaled or against the foreign agents entered through the food and air which we are inhaling. So they are forming first defense mechanism of the body, or they are protecting our body from the gastrointestinal and respiratory infections. Tonsils are the main function, protecting the body from gastrointestinal infection and respiratory infection. This is about tonsils. So after palate, the next part of the oral cavity, that is tongue. Tongue is made up of its skeletal muscle and muscular movable organ. Movable organ. Tongue is made up of its skeletal muscle, so voluntary function, muscular and movable organ, present in floor of the oral cavity. Present in floor of the oral cavity, attached by frenulum. Small membranous folding. This is the small membranous folding. That membranous folding attaching the tongue with oral cavity. That membranous folding we are calling frenulum. Next, main function of the tongue, help in mixing up the food with saliva and deglutition. So this is very important, deglutition, that is swallowing the food after mastication along with the saliva, and that food is converted into small ball-like structures. So these ball-like structure through the oral cavity. The food from the oral cavity enter into pharynx. From the pharynx, it enter into esophagus. So that is entry of the food from the oral cavity through the pharynx into esophagus is called swallowing or deglutition. Next, that helps in taste detection. Okay, tongue helps in taste detection and also speaking. So these are the functions of the tongue. Now, on the surface of the tongue, on the entire surface of the tongue, small elevations are present. You can see these type of elevations are present. The elevation which present on the surface of the tongue, we are calling them papillae. Okay. So based on the location and based on the shape, we divided the papillae into 3 categories in case human beings and 4 categories in case of the rabbit. The papillae that present in human beings, fungiform papillae. Fungiform papillae, they are mushroom shape like this. So mushroom shape papillae, right? So this type of elevation present on anterior margin of the tongue. So this is the anterior margin of the tongue. Fungiform papillae present on anterior margin of the tongue. So the anterior margin of the tongue consisting fungiform papillae. So on the surface of the fungiform papillae, taste buds are present. Okay, see, these are taste buds. Helps in detection of the taste of the food material. Okay. Fungiform papillae. Next. Filiform papillae. Fili means thread-like. Thread-like. Okay, like this. So they are thread-like papillae. They are more in number. Okay, but smaller. Smaller papillae or smallest papillae more in number, and they do not bear taste buds. So taste buds are absent. No taste buds. So taste buds are absent on filiform papillae. They maintain the texture of the tongue. Maintaining texture of the tongue. No taste buds. Filiform papillae, they present on the entire surface of the tongue. Entire surface of the tongue. They present on entire surface of tongue. More in number, smaller in size. Next one, circumvallate papillae. Circumvallate papillae, they are circular shape or round shape, present at the base of the tongue. You can see the presented base of the tongue, and they are large papillae, less in number. Large papillae, less in number. Okay, so circumvallate papillae. One more papillae at the base and margin side, we are calling them foliate papillae. So these foliate papillae functional and present in herbivore animals like rabbit, and they are non-functional or they are rudimentary in case of the human beings, and their active condition only up to 2 to 3 years of age. Later, they are unfunctional. Okay, so these are foliate papillae. Okay, tongue acting as a universal toothbrush. Universal toothbrush. Okay, so tongue, muscular, single, muscular movable organ present in floor of the oral cavity, help in taste detection, mixing up the saliva with food, and speaking, deglutition, acting as a universal toothpaste. On the surface of the tongue, many papillae present, some of which fungiform, filiform, circumvallate present, foliate absent, are unfunctional, and fungiform anterior margin. Now the fungiform contain taste buds. So the taste buds for sweetness present on anterior margin of the tongue. The taste buds which detect the sweet are present on anterior margin of the tongue. The taste buds which detect that saltiness, so present anterior of the tongue and corner side, lateral side, anterior but lateral side. The taste bitter, the taste buds for the bitter present at the base of the tongue, and the taste buds for the sour present at base of the tongue but lateral side or corner side present. Okay, so these are the distribution of the taste buds for the various tastes: sweet, salt, sour, and bitter. Okay, so this is about the